Hi, this is a continuation on from last night's lesson how to do. Last night we took a very simple shape, we drew it out, we cut it out, we brought it over here, we cut it into thin slices, and if you'll come over here, I decided to go with the two dragon pools. So that part of the set I'm happy with, and I'll continue on with that. Now, the next thing, I decided to go with the vampire counts, and I decided to go with the dragon vampire scenario. Well, when you think of that, you think of cemeteries. When you think of cemeteries, you think of grand openings. So I thought of my grand opening going into the cemetery, and so I drew this out at work, and then I came home and I made my grand entrance going into what's going to be my cemetery. It's got, as you can see, it continues with the wing theme and also makes it extremely stable, very hard to knock down. Now, when you think of the dragon vampire knights, they're very warlike. They're more warlike than any of the other vampires types out there. So when I think of war and I think of vampires, I think of like a tower with a turret, and I think of a mausoleum. Well, when in doubt, I believe do both. So that's exactly what I did. I made a mausoleum tower. Remember those 4 negatives I had yesterday? Here those negatives are. Put this off to the side. I took 1 by 1 inch pieces of polystyrene. I glued them together on the side, and I continued that all the way around the piece. And if you look at it, the face is facing to your right. And if you look in the inside, face is facing to the right, face is facing to the right, and face is facing to the right. So it's got a unified look as you look through it. Okay? Now, the turret top. The turret top utilizes a very special technique. I figured this out on my own. I never saw anybody else do it, though I'm sure somebody has. It looks easy. It's very hard to do. Some things with terrain making it's just plain old hard work. You take your piece and you cut out your square. Then you come in and you cut your inside square and you go back out the way you came. Now you've got 2 pieces that fit into each other. Next, you go through the outside and you draw in your battlements. And then you have to go through and you've got to cut all of those battlements out. Now there's a number of tools that can do that. This is one of them. It's a little hard to control. I utilized my scroll saw to do it. You have to lay it so that the box is actually open. You have to draw your lines and you have to go in and cut each one out. I didn't have enough room on the end, so I had to use a razor blade. And I went around and I cut my corners so it would come out. Then you set the depth. I set the depth at 1 inch because that's what the typical figure is. It's extra tall, so they'll be looking down, so I'm not too worried about the battlements being a little bit low because everybody is going to be shooting up at a very high angle. So these figures are really, compared to the other figures, are going to be looking down at you like this. So they have quite a bit of coverage, realistically, when you're talking about shooting from the ground. And I gave it a little bit of a larger outside, so you can see that it's tiered as it's going up. So it looks better. Underneath here, I'm going to have his grand coffin. So we have this, we have this. So now you have the pools. I'm going to move this kind of forward, because we're going to move on to the next angle. Remember I was telling you about that mountainside? Never let anything go to waste. This is the negative to that. Came right out like that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to rough out this edging here. I'm going to make it look just like stone. And then I'm going to put a larger piece behind it that's going to look like stone. And that's going to act as my backdrop. And that's going to be the grand entranceway underground into the underworld, of course. And this is great for like D&D, or if you want to switch between Warhammer and D&D and get the best of both worlds, it's a great way to do it. So, as you see it now, this is what I've accomplished so far in this set. So if you just kind of go in, zoom in, pan around, and just work your way around. Go in. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll try and have more done tomorrow night. I'll probably be working on the cemetery walls. So, thanks a lot. Have fun, and always enjoy what you're doing. Night.